If you've been avoiding leg day because of a disc herniation or sciatica, you don't need to. The problem isn't leg training, it's doing the wrong movements for your back. And a few common mistakes that might be making it worse. So I'm gonna walk you through a full leg workout you can actually do without flaring up your low back. So leg extension is obviously a low load exercise that many people can do because your spine is obviously in a neutral position. You're not rounding over with weight. The only caveat is if when you extend the leg, if you have sciatic nerve tension, this could be too sensitive for you because for many of you, this is actually called a slumps test. If you sit and round forward and extend your leg, this can stretch that nerve and it can create pain. So if this does not trigger that, then this is a totally fine leg exercise that you can incorporate. If it does trigger it, don't point your toes back, point your toes forward and see if that fixes it. If it still bothers it, then try moving the seat backwards and scooting your hips forwards. What that will do is it will put you in a less tensed position and it will actually provide a little bit of slack to the nerve. And so this could be more comfortable for you to perform. Another simple back-friendly exercise is the leg curl, obviously, because it's not putting stress on your back. So this is fine if you can tolerate it. But again, you want to watch your back position. And if your toes are up and you have sciatica and it's pulling on your leg, same exact advice. Point your toes forward and try to lean back, extend backwards. If this is now comfortable, great, you can train it. If not, then we might just want a variation to these type of movements. But again, if you can tolerate this, this is a totally fine movement to do if you have a disc herniation. Now, many of you probably aren't ready for traditional barbell squat alternatives. And the reason why is because, it can put a lot of leverage and stress on the lower back, not in a bad way. Squats are good for you, but if you have a sensitive low back or disc herniation, it can irritate you. Sure, you can switch to a front rack position, which can help you stay a little bit more upright. However, in this context, if I was training with a disc herniation, I'd probably just switch to a different alternative altogether. So instead of a barbell back squat that we might not be prepared for, a great alternative that you can train pretty heavy right now is a simple sumo squat, holding it between the legs. This allows you to maintain a very upright position, and you can even rest the dumbbell or kettlebell on an elevated surface as well. Put your feet wide, toes out. This just helps you stay more upright. Squat down as deep as you can comfortably and come back up. Again, the reason this is so good is because you can actually load this pretty heavy and there's not nearly as much leverage on your back as if you had the weight up top. There's gonna be more leverage on your back no matter what you're doing. But having it in this position reduces leverage on your back and again, keeps you in a much more upright position, loading the hips more as well, so that your low back isn't simply taking the stress. And ideally in any leg training, you're getting unilateral work. So a split squat is a great variation that again is very low back friendly. Start holding a weight in 2 arms and simply bring the knee close to the floor and come right back up. Great way to train that forward leg, obviously, but in a very upright position. As you can see, again, the weights are below or next to my hips, not up top where it can create more leverage on the back. Closer to the hips, closer to your center of gravity. That's always going to be a better position, maintaining a very upright posture. Now, you can train this hard and you can also go really, really slow to make it more difficult. You can do holds to make it more difficult as well. That's a way you can make this training harder if you can't go too heavy. Another way to advance this over time, which I really like, is when you hold 2 weights, it's equal force on your body. But now what we can do is we can hold it in the opposite arm or 1 arm at a time. So now, as I get stronger, I can start stimulating my core at the same time. When I hold it in 1 arm, my body wants to fall this way. My QL muscle on this side has to contract to hold me upright. So now I could take whatever weight is equivalent of 2, put it in the one hand, so now it's heavier. I have to use my QL now on one side and I can perform the same movement. Then obviously I would just switch arms when I'm going to train the other leg. This is a great way as you get more confident in your training to get your QL and your spine stabilizers working as well while training your leg.
Hey, real quick, I know you're struggling with pain and obviously want to fix it. So if you just text me the word pain to 317-751-9509, I will send you my free back pain fix demo. Just text that number and you can fix your pain. Thank me later. Back to the show.
Leg press, easily the most common leg machine used in the entire fitness community. However, one mistake a lot of individuals make with back pain that could flare them up is not paying attention to their low back positioning and hip positioning during the movement. So you may or might not be aware that if you go too deep and you don't control things, you can accidentally round at the bottom as you're seeing me do. And if we're in a rounded, flexed position with load, this can put a lot of pressure on your discs, which can hit your sciatic nerve. It can make your low back worse for sure. So one correction you can make doing a leg press with both feet is to put two hands under your lower back. This is gonna force neutrality or a curve in your lower back, and then make sure your tailbone is pushed back into the seat the whole time. So my hand's under my back and my tailbone is touching the platform. Now I'm gonna go as low as I can until I feel my tailbone start to lift. As soon as I feel my tailbone start to lift off the pad, that's the bottom position for me, and I'm gonna go back up. This is ensuring I'm not finding myself in a rounded position that could put more pressure on my discs. Now let's say that's still difficult, where there's a way to avoid rounding through the pelvis entirely. See, if you have both legs going through the motion, it's possible your pelvis can rotate. But a way you can block your pelvis is by putting one foot down. So if one foot is down, this actually helps lock your pelvis in a neutral position, and it's way harder to tuck it under you. So you're essentially just doing a single leg press. So put one foot down in a strong anchored position, grab the handles, pull yourself firmly into the pad, and now perform a single leg press. As you can see, pay attention to my pelvis. I can go really deep in my pelvis. I mean, I'm hitting my knee now. My pelvis does not want to round because this leg is down. That's the trick. So if I stand, if both hips are moving, I can go into like a butt wink rounded position. But if I have one leg back like this, or I'll do this example, now watch my pelvis, okay? It's very difficult for this to round. It's physically hard to do because when one leg is back, it locks down the pelvis and the lumbar spine. So that's what you're doing with the leg press to help avoid that rounding. And a single leg press might be a better variation for you to still really stimulate your leg without falling through the low back. In any workout, ideally you can incorporate a hinging based movement as well, because hinging is so great for posterior chain strength and learning how to move through your hips. However, if you have nerve tension, if you have sciatica, when you bend forward, this can increase nerve tension. And that's why some of you'll notice as soon as you bend forward, you might feel one leg feel way tighter than the other, like a rubber band that's about to snap. So this entirely depends on your tolerance to the movement. Even if you have a disc herniation, if you maintain a nice neutral spine and you feel totally comfortable with this, then awesome, do it. It's a great method of building that posterior chain strength. Just make sure you're hinging primarily through the hips. If you do have sciatica and it hurts, find that range that you can go to. And if you can just do a partial range, okay, then just do a partial range. If this is all you can do, but you can do it comfortably, and it doesn't flare up your sciatica, then this is still a range that you can train and still a range that you can get stronger in. So do it. So remember, leg training isn't bad for your back. And if you have a doctor that's telling you it is, then you need to buy them a gym membership because they definitely don't even lift. But yes, if your low back is sensitive, then we should temporarily modify your training to get you back into the gym in a safe way. And if you want a more structured plan to fix your back for life, then text me the word pain to 317-751-9509 to get a free back pain fix demo with my team so we can show you how our centralization process has helped thousands of people around the world fully recover from severe low back, disc herniation, and sciatica issues within 3 to 6 months and back to full activity. Text me right now so you don't miss this opportunity to finally get pain-free, live the life that you deserve, and do everything you love. I'll see you on the next video. Thank you so much for watching. Like and subscribe, and I'll see some of you in our program real soon.